Okay, this is going to be a brief video just reviewing some of the key ideas in terms of starting ArcMap and some best practices in terms of getting your map document to do what you want and not to lose your data. So when you start ArcMap, this is what you're going to see, and the one thing that I want you to be careful of is in this screen, oftentimes, and I'm as guilty of it as anyone else, I'll simply hit cancel, open up my map, and then just start going and working on my data. The problem with doing that is that you'll notice that the default geodatabase is simply set to the documents area in ArcGIS. And what that does is if you're on your own computer at home, it's really not such a big deal. But in the lab, a lot of times your connection here is erased. That file is cleaned out every time the computer is shut off. And so we don't want to use that. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to change my default database to a working geodatabase within my main folder here. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm here and I'm going to click and I'm going to create a new geodatabase and I'm going to name it Working Stapleton. Okay, so that's in a sense where we are dealing with here. And then I'm going to select that, and that's going to be my my geodatabase. Okay, so there it is. And we're going to click Add. And now you'll notice that Working Stapleton is the geodatabase that is now my default. So that's the first step. I'm going to hit OK. And now once that's done, I want to point out a couple things. Now when I go up here to the file, I'm going to go to my map document properties. And you'll notice that my default geodatabase has been changed, and you're going to see it's now in that Working Stapleton. The second thing I want you to always make sure you do is, in terms of path names, make sure that you click on Relative Path Names. What that does is it allows for, if you're using an external drive, that if the USB connection changes a letter, you're not going to have a problem with having to reset all of your path names. So always click that and then click Apply. The last thing I want you to do is, rather than leaving this untitled, I am going to give this map a title, and I'm going to simply give it a little bit of information. You can do it here, and again, you can fill this out later on, but the other way that you can do this, once you've hit the Apply there, is I'm going to go up here simply to File, and I'm going to click Save As. And you'll notice that immediately, because I've set that as the default geodatabase location, it's going to bring me into the same folder. And that makes things a lot easier. And so again, what I'm going to call this, I'm going to be consistent here, and I'm going to call this Working Stapleton. And hit Enter. And so now you'll notice that it's saving it. The name has changed here. My document properties have relative path names. I have a modified default path, and so everything seems to be good. We can go from there. I'm going to hit OK. The next thing I want you to always make sure that you're doing in the Customize drop-down, and again, at least for this class, this is a simple way of doing this. You're going to click on Customize, and the main thing that I want you to always click on is the extensions, and we're going to make sure that our 3D analyst, our geostatistical analyst, and our spatial analyst are all clicked on. And I'm going to hit Close then. What that will do is it'll allow those tools that we're going to be using to work properly. Okay, so that's the beginning. I want to point out a couple other things that we're going to be using in class. Please make sure that you're comfortable with your toolbox, with your model builder, your search. Okay, those are the three that we're going to be using quite a bit in here. The search option helps you find things. Toolbox, we're going to be developing some tools and customizing a toolbox. And then lastly, the model builder option. And so that's where we're going to be within this class. So, given all of that, you're ready to go. We're going to move on to working on Dr. Stapleton's in the next video.